Hey y'all, this is Lynn back with Paper Life, and okay, I know I told you on this travel journal that we were working on that I do not like to make my covers before my signatures are done. However, I'm breaking my own rule. Go figure, I do it all the time. I want to talk to you about this. This one's called a foam sheet. It's like, I don't know, I think of it as like the kids' craft foam. And to me, this is kind of a hidden gem of making covers. I've done it before where I just use a thin box cardboard. This is a root beer box. Cover it with the foam. It gives it a real plush feel for kind of a hard cover. Here's one that I made using it. And this is just completely a soft cover. Like so. Oh, and then see, this one's a travel journal as well. Travel journal style as well. It's really fun to work with. Well, I don't know if it's really fun to work with, but it's really easy to work with. And so this is what we're going to use for our cover. I grabbed some fabric that I liked. This one I've had for a couple years now. I don't know, I really like it. It has the echinacea and daisies. At least I think these are daisies, and little purple flowers. This is just some white cotton that I stained a little bit with some coffee, threw in the dryer to dry it up. Now on this one, you might be able to tell a little bit better. Sorry, I'm still experimenting with my camera and my lighting. I don't know if you can see that or not. I did a ripped edge all the way around it. And let me see. I'm gonna grab a piece of this fabric. Some fabrics do it, some don't want to. I find that cotton does it pretty well. So all I do, excuse the chickens, is I start a little bit of a nip in the fabric. And then I just tear down it. So it gives me just a little bit of a frayed edge. Chicken! Astra! Yeah, she's not listening when I yell her name. And so that's what I did all the way around on both of these pieces of fabric. The downside is that you can't get it perfectly to size. Well, at least I can't get it perfectly to size. Maybe someone out there can. Nope, every time I think she's going to stop, she starts right back up. So what I did for this cover is this front one is about 7 3/4 inch tall. Again, it's not going to be perfect. And it is, oh, okay, I already did 7 3/4 tall. And it's just about 10 1/4 wide. Now, if you weren't doing those ripped edges, let's see, what did I figure this up at? I would do my covers, if I was making them to fit, around probably 7 1/4 tall. I'm going to do a 1-inch spine. It makes it very hard for me to concentrate while they're doing that. So 4, 5, another 4. So probably 9 inches wide if I was going to do that without having any well, it would have a little bit of overhang, but not crazy. I did cut a piece of cardboard for my spine. You do not have to do that part if you don't want to. I cut 2 pieces of fabric, and what I did was I grabbed some, I'm going to say it's backing. I just call it Wonder Under, but I know that's a brand. It's an iron-on fusible backing, and it has just, one side has like a fabric feel, one side's kind of bumpy, but that's your glue, and you're just going to use your iron to put that on. Oh, yay. she decided to, instead of being at the window, she would walk over by the door just to make sure we can really hear. But I just kind of eyeballed where the center of it was. Cut these a little bit short. They should have been cut at the 7¼ to match the seam. But just kind of eyeballed where the center of it was. I want a little bit on each side. And that's just what I do so that the glue doesn't soak through the fabric. Or what I like to do at least. So if I can concentrate past the chicken being crazy outside, we'll go ahead and start cutting. Oh my gosh. Oh, the joys of having chickens. They are pretty funny though. Okay, so here is my foam. I am going to cut this in this video, but I want to show you something. And this was how I did this journal cover. Was if you just take your score tool. Again, I have no idea if I'm in view. Okay, I am. You can actually score into this and give yourself that fold line that you want. So I'm going to cut, I want 1 inch for my spine first. So I'm going to show you with that how this would work. And then what I liked was flipping it over and doing it on both sides. It just kind of compresses that foam to give you a crease. So if you didn't want to cut it, you could just score along there and then it would give you your crease for your spines and stuff like that. But I want to try something different, so we're going to do something different. And this could be an epic fail. I don't really know. Here, let me first, I'm going to cut off a strip of 7¼ I think I said 7¼ 7¼ inch long, so I can get my excess off of there. I don't know how I want to do this. I'll do it this way. Seven and a quarter. So all I'm using is a utility knife to cut through it. So now I have the height of 7¼ Let me make sure that's not horribly off. Nope, it's good. I'm going to cut my 1 inch spine. So I'm just going to cut that area that I did my fold on to show you how it would work. Just because I don't want to waste it. Yeah, I really like working with this. It makes a great soft cover. It's pretty cheap. I mean, okay, you guys hear me say Walmart all the time. It's not that I love the place. It's just out here. That is about the best I got for a craft store. So at Walmart, these are like 30 cents for a full sheet. And it's 9¼ by 12 inches. So it's enough to do a journal with one. However, the white tends to be hard to find. I don't need that right now. Let me get that out of my way. Oh yay, the chicken moved away from the window. And I'm going to cut each panel, each side of it. I think I've said too many measurements. My brain's not really working. I'm going to do each side of my cover at 4 inches. That'll allow just a little bit of an overhang. I don't know, 3/16 if we want to get super precise. So 4 inches. I guess let me do this. Yeah, I'm going to cut this at 4 inches. If I can be tricky and not move this, I can just move my ruler over and do another 4 inches. My belly's talking to you guys. So at this point, I don't need this piece or this one. I'm going to get them out of my way so I don't confuse myself. So here are my 2 sides that are 4 inches. Oh, she's back. My spine, I'm going to go ahead and do my spine first, I believe. Need a scrap. Alright, this will be my scrap. Fabri-Tac. Really any kind of glue you want to use. I like Fabri-Tac because it dries quickly and it's a permanent hold. I will say that's one kind of downside about this foam, is that it likes to absorb the glue. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I feel like that's what it likes to do. And it has stretch to it, so when I put it down I want to kind of make sure that it isn't stretching in a way I don't want it to. You by no means have to do this part. I'm just doing it because I want for it to tack so we can move on to something else. I only put the cardboard on my spine just because I wanted to give it a little extra reinforcement, because this is the part that our elastic will be going through. Now, I've already told you guys that I'm kind of obsessive with sewing, so after this cover is completely done, I will sew around all the edges. If you do not like to sew, you can do the same thing with this. Do it all the same way, but I would use the Fabri-Tac for all of my gluing, and this Wonder Under, I would cover my full sheet of fabric with it, so that wherever you're going to put the Fabri-Tac, you don't have a problem with it wanting to lift up. So let's do our inside part of our cover first. Sorry, just a little more fussing with this. Now, since I'm going to sew around this, I'm not going to use the Fabri-Tac for my glue. I'm actually just going to use my glue stick. I find with the foam, the glue stick works really well. If I want to, you know, bring up part of it, I can. And I'm just trying to kind of put this on here to see how this is going to lay out. My inside part of the cover decided it wanted to be a little bit smaller, so it's going to be a little more finessing with it. I feel like for the next month, every time I record a video, you guys are going to be in a different position because I'm not loving this setup either. I may have already complained about that, but if I did, then I'm really not loving it. I'm going to complain again. So I guess the smarter way to do this would be to find my halfway mark. And, alright, I'm going to do it the smarter way. Doesn't happen very often. Usually I like the more challenging. I'm going to find the halfway of my spine on both sides. So I used a pencil and I just made two little lines. I don't know if you can see that or not. So I have a line on both sides. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my fabric and I'm going to try to fold it in half. And I'm going to maybe use my pencil and just kind of draw where my halfway mark is. Alright, that may make my life a little easier. It may not. So I am going to use the fabric tack for this part. Okay, I lied. I'm going to use glue stick. Just in case I completely mess this up, I can just pull it up and do it again. So I don't know what makes it where the glue stick does really good on this foam, and you know, I don't know why it does it compared to something else that wants to do more of a absorb into it. I of course can't see where my halfway mark is on this other side. I'm hoping that this is going to be our more difficult one. I hope, at least. I'm hoping the other side goes a little easier. I hope. Okay. I'm going to do about, well, how much of a this do I need? I'm going to do 1/8 of an inch on each side of my spine, where I'm just going to, see, that's what I was afraid of. I'm going to try that again. Again, did I tell you how awesome it was that the glue stick, you can just pull it right back up? You know, honestly, if I would have realized I was just going to hold this down with the glue stick, I didn't even have to put that under stuff behind there. And if I would have decided I didn't want that torn edge, oh, I'm sorry. Yep, nope, I'm not going to love this camera view, this camera setup, because I just hit you. My head hit the camera. Oh, I didn't mean to glue all this down. I'm going to leave a gap on the side of each one of these covers, or both the front and the back, in case I decide to add lace there. Okay, about the same on each side. So in case I decide to add any lace there, I can just pull one side up and add that lace. See if I can wipe that glue stick off. If not, I can just pull the fabric back up off of the foam. Okay. Now the only thing I would say is if you were doing this cover in one long shot, is that the glue stick wants to dry relatively quickly on there. So I wouldn't, you know, put glue all over my foam. I would do part of it and then lift the other part up, add some more glue, and then continue on. Okay, just trying to make sure I got that where I wanted it. Check the other side to make sure I don't have any crazy wrinkles. Now when I threw this fabric in the dryer, I don't know if you can tell or not, but I have just some real faint wrinkles. I did iron it. I guess I could have obsessed more to get all of them out of there, but I kind of liked it, so I just went with it. Now this fabric ripped just a little bit bigger, and I liked it bigger, so I left it as it was. I'm going to try to find my halfway mark on this as well. I just want to put some glue stick on my spine area. I think I can do this and it will work. Let's see. So what I did was find my halfway point on my spine, and I'm actually just folding it. Let's see how well this works out. So that maybe, oh, that worked pretty well. I probably should have done that on the other side. Kind of want to make sure I have, there we go. Just want to make sure I have that kind of even on both sides. Okay, for the time being, I'm going to put my glue stick up. I am going to use the fabric tack. If you wanted to use tacky glue on this, you could. It's just not going to give as secure of a hold, in my opinion. And I want to make sure this is nice and held. Okay. So I just ran some down my channel, making sure I had some on both sides, just a little. Just a little. All I'm going to do is work my fabric down to kind of meet in the middle. find that I like to fold it over the spine. Kind of just makes my life a little easier. And when I say fold it over, I mean like this. I'm just folding my fabric to get it into that gap. Now this is why I didn't put glue on both of them. This takes just a little bit of patience. And I want to make sure my glue doesn't dry. I don't know if you can see this on camera, but I do have a little bit of purple from the glue stick showing through the white. I'm not worried about that because it will dry clear. It just takes a little bit longer for that to dry completely. I want to do the same thing, run some glue down here. Again, I don't want to, okay, well I say I don't want to go crazy, but you guys know me with glue. I don't want to put too much because it will even still soak through the fabric with that wonder under it. But I don't know, I haven't had a problem with it. I like it. If that's a step that you don't necessarily want to do, you don't have to. It just, in my opinion, I really like the feel of fabric. I like that softness. It gives it a different texture compared to paper. And if you get the glue on there, it kind of defeats that. In my humble opinion, at least. I don't know, because there's been other times I've Mod Podged right over my fabric because I like the feeling of that too. So, maybe I'm just very indecisive. Now, one thing I did learn from doing my other cover like this is I'm not going to sew it because I don't want to decorate it right now. I don't know completely how I want to do it. I sewed over this one like 3 or 4 times, just making sure I had everything attached down. But what I would do is I'm going to sew down here, across here, so across both my bottoms, across both my sides, and then I'm going to run a stitch right next to where the gap of my spine is on both sides, and the same thing on my actual spine. So since this is we're gonna craft with me working all the way through it, I'm not worried about finishing this off completely right now. We can finish it off when we get to that step. But there is our cover. I have the 4 signatures. They will fit in there nicely. I could probably even, well, I don't know if you can see that or not. Okay, I don't like my lighting. You could probably fit in 1 or 2 more. That was something I wanted to see. I don't know if my glue's set up enough that I can do it or not. I have some cheesecloth, and I was debating on putting a little bit at the top and bottom of my spine. But I glued it down, so I guess we will see if I can get it back up without messing anything up. And then we can find out if I even like it or not. So I'm going to cut a strip off. I'm just kind of trying to fold it a little bit so I don't have any of those real raw edges showing through. Let's see. Alright, I think I like that enough to at least pull this up before it completely sets. And then see it on here. Alright, I should have just left it be. I should have left it be. But at this point I already did it, so let's go with it. I'm going to grab my colorful stamp pads here and see what kind of color I think I want. I think I'm going to do this pink. I don't know. Okay. Get that off my finger so that it doesn't spread elsewhere. I just don't want this extremely white, and I don't know, I like the idea of it working in. So I'm just going to put a little ink across here. And some inside, why not? Oh, I missed my paper. I feel like I'm very monotone today. However, I don't know how entertaining I am any other day, so it might be normal. Okay, so this would have been far easier if I had done it before I glued all my pieces down, but you know, why would I go and do that? Now, I will say, because I tried it, you don't want to iron. I know a lot of times I'll iron my fabric down to make my glue stick quicker or better. You don't want to do that with this foam because, well, it's plastic and it'll melt. So don't do it with this foam. I don't know, it didn't really melt, it just made it thinner. Oh, there goes my chicken again. I feel like after all that, I'm very vested, and I have to put this on here now. I wish you guys were here to tell me if I like that or not. I'm very torn on if I like it or not. I need y'all to be like yelling through the camera and telling me to put it there or not put it there. Alright, well, it's going there. I don't know how much I love it, but it's going to go there at this point. So I'm going to fold these edges in on themselves. I want to make sure that this is sticking through this green, well, the front cover. So you could make this cover a whole lot easier doing it by, you know, not cutting down your boards, having it where it was one consistent piece, by covering it with paper or a full strip of fabric without doing these ripped around the edges, with glue, you know, gluing it down instead of doing the sewing. But that's not how I roll. Okay, after all that, I don't love it. I don't love it. Let's get rid of it. I think I would have liked it better if I didn't have all this torn edges, where it feels like they're kind of competing with the space. But whatever. So if you want to add that there, most definitely do it before you glue it down. Don't do what I did. I feel like that's most of my videos. Don't do what I did. That's what I thought I did. My fabric buckled just a little bit since I pulled it back up and I didn't like that idea. So let me fix that. Now for any of these really crazy strings that didn't basically rip apart while I was ripping the fabric, I usually just give it a little bit of a cut, maybe. Alright, it's making a liar out of me. There we go. Now since I need to get back in here and fix where I messed up, kind of show you what I mean about this, it just pulls right back up. Now my Wonder Under did not, it stayed with the area that I glued. that wasn't the best thing that could have happened since I need to use my Fabri-Tac. But whatever. We'll cover it up with some lace or something. So yeah, there's the start of our cover. If you don't want to sew, one of the things I would do once you get to the point of being finished with your cover is run a bead of the Fabri-Tac up against the foam all the way around so you can push the two pieces of fabric together. I don't know if I would do that now because I plan on adding pockets in here and, like I said, some form of closure. I don't know yet what that'll be. I don't know what that will be yet. I got some sari silk that I may end up using, mostly because I finally found some. I wish I knew the name of the shop or the lady that was selling it. There was some on eBay that was a pretty good price. I'll see if I can find it again and link it. But the one I bought it from had really quick shipping. She was out of California, I want to say. And it was really good price and all that good stuff. So I think I'm going to use some sari silk to tie my closure. But I'm going to leave it at that point for today's video because I'm going to sit here and continue to fuss with this and you probably don't want to see all that. So for now, I will say have a great day. I'll see you soon. I think the next thing will be decorating the pages. I also had a friend challenge me to do I might be calling it wrong, a 1x1 kind of square index cards. And we might do it as a challenge in Paper Lifers on Facebook group. So I might do that with this because that would make a cute journaling card. I don't know. All kinds of ideas and you guys get to suffer through it. I hope you all have a great day and I will talk to you all later.